What's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Feedback Friday on 12th of April. How's it going? How's it going? Frick in the building. It's been a while. It has been a while, Frick. I appreciate you keeping up that sub hype in the chat for Frick. 18 months you've subscribed for. That's insane. That is insane. Hype in the chat for you, Frick. Thank you so much. What a legend. You've reached the copper boldness. You love to see it. What up, VLG? What up, Pixel Toast is in the building. You're able to... Can't speak. You're able to make it to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. I'm doing okay. Thank you. How are you doing today? Please check my ice cream. Of course, we'll check it today, VLG. Don't worry. We'll check it today. Let's start with that one, actually. We'll do the wheel as well. So for those of you that don't know, in the past, we've worked on feedback. Given feedback, we do it like this. Always glad to support you. I appreciate it, Frick. Thank you so much. How's everyone doing anyway? Anything cool been going on? So in the past, we've been doing feedback like this, where there is a feedback section in the Discord. You post your artwork, you tag it as Feedback Friday, and then we just go from bottom to top, basically. But the way that it works now, we have a new system, okay? And the new system is prioritizing people who show up to the streams and are here and now. So if you're here now, basically, we will put your name into a little wheel or like a pick a wheel thing, like something like this. Where is it? Something like this, and we'll pick people to out of a random choice thing, basically. But if you're here, if you're now, then it doesn't really matter. So let's just go with it. VLG, let's check out the ice cream, shall we? We'll just jump into it. Again, the stream will probably be about an hour long, an hour and a half, something like that. So let's have a look. Where is the ice cream? Did you tag it with Feedback Friday? Make sure you did. If you didn't, then that's bad. But if you did, then that's good. Look for the ice cream. Look for the ice cream. Wheel upgrade from last time. Yes, hype. Wheel upgrade. I just picked the first wheel. I'm not gonna lie, I just picked the first wheel. But for those of you that are wondering what's going on with YouTube and all that stuff, because some of you watch on YouTube, we're streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so if you're wondering who I'm talking to and you can't see anyone in the chat, it's because we got a YouTube chat and a Twitch chat. You can't combine them for whatever reason. It's kind of annoying, but that's okay. But YouTube videos, I need to make a faceplant update. I realize it's been about 8 months since I've made a faceplant update, and I have been working on the game in that time. I haven't made a huge amount of progress. I'd love to say that I've finished the game in that time, but I actually haven't. So I haven't made a huge amount of progress, but there has been some progress, especially on the art and things. As some of you know, life has been mental, but that's not what this is about. It's about faceplant and getting the game finished. So I do plan on making an update video on faceplant. I just don't really know how to do that anymore. I've kind of forgotten how to make videos. Like, I don't have the same amount of time to make videos, so I'm trying to figure out a new way to make videos, which isn't going to take me 3 months to make a video when I should just be working on faceplant for 3 months instead of making a video. Strato, thanks for the follow. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to lower the quality of the videos, and not like super lower, but like, I don't know. I'm going over it in my head, and I'm trying to figure out how to make videos again, basically, which are good and get the point across, but also aren't super time consuming to make, because I just don't have the time anymore. What up, Reaper King? How you doing today? But anyway, let's start. VLG, blue sky cream with the clouds. Let's check out these clouds, shall we? Blue sky cream with the clouds. This one? Blue sky. It's near the top. Ah, this is ice cream. Okay. So I didn't immediately tell this was ice cream until I saw the lollipop stick. I've never seen an ice cream. It's more like a lollipop. I wouldn't call this ice cream. I would call this a lollipop. Just so you know. It looks tasty though. I like the drips you got going on there. This is rendered nicely. Let's take this. Strato, what up? I'm going to put... So everyone now, your names are going onto the wheel. Your names are going onto the wheel. If you're here and you have something that you want to be seen, you're going on the wheel. There you go. Your name's on the wheel. If you want something to be seen, put your name on the wheel. Sky flavored. What up, Anna? How you doing today? Sky flavored. Okay. So you're on the wheel. Obviously, if there's only one person on the wheel, then it's easy, right? So let's just go ahead. So firstly, this is cool. I like the textures that you got going on, the rendering of the drips. What up, Brian? How you doing today? The stick looks a little bit off, perspective-wise. I feel like maybe it should be just because of, if you see the way this box is drawn, right? If you just draw the box in perspective, I know there's a cloud there, but this stick kind of looks like it's coming out like that. Doesn't really match the perspective. If you imagine the stick as another box, it'll help you. You know what I mean? I feel like it just bends a little bit too much forward at the end there, at the end of it. It's a very slight thing though, very, very slight. A mini Winnie, what up BT Bab? Good evening, what up Frederico? Sir Pudnick, hello, hello. What's going on everybody? So that's one thing. The second thing I say, it doesn't really look like an ice cream, but I do like the effect that you've got going on here. I like the effect that you've got going on. I think it's really cool. Let's check out the lighting. The lighting, I mean, I guess it's coming from the top all above, just because you've got these clouds, like the form in the clouds is telling me that there's a lot of lighting, top lighting. And if that's the case, then maybe there would be some cast shadow on this lollipop stick from those clouds. Like more shadow rather than just a small amount of shadow. It's hard to render something like this on a blue background. It does look transparent. Maybe what I would do here is the R word. Anyone know what that is? What is the R word? Ideal for these types of scenarios, in all art scenarios. It is. Anyone? No one can guess. Oh my goodness. Reference. That's right, Sir Pudnick. I typed in reference to my reference when I should have just typed in lollipop. Lollipop. Sunny day. Lolly. How do you spell lollipop? Lollipop. What's it like? It's like an ice lolly. Hopefully it's not the R word I'm thinking of. No. No, nothing like that. Reference, folks. Reference. Yeah, I'd look at reference, but it's kind of hard because the material that you've got is like transparent. Or what's the word for that? Is it transparent, translucent? What's the translucent meaning? Translucent means permitting the passage. Yeah, translucent. So I'd look at translucent materials, and I'd look at translucent materials, and I'd look at how to render them. Like if you look at these things, that's kind of similar to what you've got, except this is not. This is opaque. No light is passing through this bad boy. So you'd have to then define your search for translucent material. And there's some good like art reference material here to help you sell that. It just depends on what you want it to look like, doesn't it? A very sus image right there. Bum, bum, bum. But you know what I mean? It's difficult to say. Overall, I think it gets across the vibe, the perspective. Like I said, the cast shadow could use some work. I think the form of these clouds could probably use a little bit of work. They look quite flat, which is strange against something which is so 3D, like this lollipop. They look quite flat, especially with these highlights. Like if the light is really coming from the top, would this side be more lit? Oh my god, so lit, bro. Would this be more lit because of the plane? I'm not sure, because I'm not sure about the materials as much. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because you know, it's difficult. I might be getting my driver's license soon. Nice, I got mine. I've been driving around for a little bit now. It's fun. It's good. I'm glad I got mine. It's made my life a lot easier, to be honest. It's made my life a lot easier. What about the clouds? So the clouds look quite flat. And it's because you just have this big shape and then a little sort of outline around it. It could help to imagine it as a 3D shape, yeah? This is the process with anything. Like, imagine contour lines, you know? Imagine contour lines around everything. Like, if I'm going to draw contour lines, I'm just going to make them up, by the way. And also, guess what's going to help with this? Reference, like cloud reference. Because some clouds might look like this. Looks like a croissant. A croissant. I dropped my croissant. That's what this looks like. But if I draw like contour lines, for example, we can see how we can begin to make this appear a little bit more 3D. By taking the shadow and putting it in areas which help describe that form, you know? But you notice immediately how a little bit more idea of a 3D form will, a little bit more idea of form will help sell the 3D nature. You know what I mean? You just got to do the same thing for every cloud. Like if I remove that, it looks quite flat. You add that in, it now looks more 3D. It just depends. It depends on how much you want as well. You don't have to go mental with it. But hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Next up, anybody, it's a flat pillow. If it's a flat pillow, then you're good. You're good to go. Mission accomplished. But if it's a cloud, then give it some form. Give it some form. Okay, let's move on. Who, if anybody, by the way, if you need, oh, I can't speak today. If you want something to be checked out, tell me now, and you'll enter the wheel. Tell me now and you'll enter the wheel. Otherwise, we'll spin the wheel, and I've got a feeling I know who'll win. You have 20 seconds. 19 seconds. BT Bap's got something. Boom. Look at that. Your odds have just decreased by some percentage. Apologies, maths. Reaper King wants something. Oh my goodness. The chances of your work getting seen now are just drastically reducing. Thank you so much, Sensei. No problem, VLG. Thank you so much for sharing your work. Strato having a breakdown. Right, let's spin it. You might get lucky. Good luck. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Who's it going to be? It's Reaper King. Reaper King, what are we looking at today? Congratulations, Reaper King. You have been removed from the list. What are we looking at today? What we got? What we got on the menu? Let's have a look here. A game about bread. Nice. Share with me. It should be a song. Is it in feedback? If it's, there it is. 30 days ago. Jeez. Here it is. Let's listen up. Also, if you create, did you create this song? Because we don't do copyright things here. If you create the song, all good. If you didn't, banned. If I get a copyright strike, banned. Simple as that. Next, let's listen. It's called Uh-Oh Danger. Make sure the level's okay first. Can you hear that, everybody? How about now? Okay, you can't hear that? How about now? Okay, let's listen. It's 2 minutes long. Let's listen to it. It's pretty funny to submit something you didn't make. Yeah, you get banned. Banned. Okay, cool. Let's go. Let's listen. So it's called Uh-Oh Danger. I'm trying to improve at making music. I think that was pretty okay personally. I'd like confirmation if it sounds good as well as it fits the theme danger. Immediately fits the theme of danger, in my opinion. The like alarm sounds. It's quite repetitive so far. Oh, there we go. Changing it up a bit. Oh my goodness. It's like drum and bass with danger. It's the longest chase in history. It's pretty good. It definitely makes me feel stressed. I think it's the piano. The constant dun, dun. Dun dun dun, yeah. Okay, I could probably only listen to this for so long, I'm not gonna lie. Because overall I'd say yes. It does give me the theme of danger. It does give me stressful response. It does sound overall very good. I think the only thing you need to be careful of is like too much repeating elements. Like someone mentioned there, you just mentioned like a battle theme. You just mentioned a battle theme, and like battle themes, if you listen to them, like the Pokemon battle themes and stuff, they've got like a nice loop to them and stuff. So I think be careful about repeating something too much throughout of it. Too much dissonance. What is the meaning of dissonance? Dissonance means a lack of harmony among musical notes. Yeah, I feel that as well. What up, yo? How are you doing with your game? It's coming along. Yo, it's coming along. I hope to release a little update video soon on Faceplant. I know it's been a long time since I've updated anyone on Faceplant. It's been about 8 months. My life has been very different. My life is very different now than what it was 8 months ago. So I haven't made a huge amount of progress. I have been working on the artwork of the game, and that's what I'm hopefully going to be sharing in the next video. It's getting there, yo. Life sucks. What up, Waters? How you doing today? New camera? No. Just beautiful face. What up, Dom? How you doing today? How's it going? Great to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hyped to get more progress on it. I'm actually thinking of how to make the next YouTube video, because I've forgotten how to make videos, basically. I've forgotten how to make videos, and I want to make them quickly now. That's my priority, because I work now, basically. For those of you that don't know, I work now. There's a lot of shit going on in real life. Apologies for the swearing. There's a lot of stuff going on in real life, and I work now, so I don't have the time to put like crazy effort into videos. Beforehand, it would take me like 2 months to make a devlog video, and that doesn't really make sense now. To spend that 2 months is probably going to be like 5 months now if I try to do it, like I found out with that goblin video, which took way too long to make and nobody watched it, but that's okay. So I'm trying to find a process where I can make videos more quickly, basically. Right. Was in the building with the 21 months. Thank you so much for the hype. Thank you so much for the hype, for the subscription, Waters. I appreciate you. So yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, basically. You watched the goblin video? Well, I appreciate it. You are a legend. You are a legend. Oh my goodness, I just realized I've got the 3-year diamond sub badge. That's kind of nuts. Thank you so much for watching the goblin video. Yeah, I liked it, but I need to make videos more quickly. So I'm trying to think of a way to make videos quickly. Let me ask you this question, actually, since you're here. What would you think about a video where I kind of recorded it like this? Exactly the same as what we're doing right now, where basically I sit and talk in front of the camera, but I also draw what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, hi, and probably in Paint or something like that. And I also have like clips and footage and things like that. It's obviously not as produced as it has been, but more streamlined, more simplistic, like Dino says. Would you be down for that? Didn't have the energy to comment, but it was good. I appreciate it, Mr. Ma. That raw content. Yeah, raw, real stuff. You're very good at yapping about random stuff on streams. Thank you, Zai. That was a nice way to say that, I think. You're very good at yapping about random stuff. Yeah, it would be yapping about not random stuff. Like I'd have a bullet point list of things to talk about, like faceplant art, and I'd just sit and yap about that, I guess, for a little bit while showing you what I've been doing. And maybe that way I could update you more frequently. Please ramble to me more consistently. I can't even tell if you're joking now. But anyway, next up. I'll try it out anyway. I think it works providing you cut out any waffle. 100%. 100% no waffle. I don't like waffle. I do like the food waffle, but not talking waffle. It would be, so if for those of you who have seen, this is the way I've pictured it. I had an epiphany, right? I've been making shorts. I've been trying to make shorts. And essentially what a short video is on Soul Tunes, a short tunes video is, it's a little snippet of the good stuff and only the good stuff, right? And I thought, well, my longer videos could literally just be shorts all put together. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. I know you can't see the vision. I know you just can't see the vision like me. I'll make something. If it does well, whatever. I just need an update on Faceplant. It's been 8 months. Okay, it's been 8 months. I'll make something. I'll make anything at this point. Let's just release this. I'm just gonna do this and release this. Anyway, next up, nice music, Reaper King. I liked it. I liked the music, Reaper King. I thought it was good. I think it gave me the sense of danger. I think Frick was right. Maybe a bit too much dissonance between the notes. Maybe there could be something to add cohesion. I don't know enough about music to give you that specific feedback, unfortunately. Yeah, longer videos are like shorter videos combined together. That's what I learned recently. And shorter videos are just longer videos, but less of it, which is mad. It's mad if you think about it. Anyway, who would like to be on the list now? Thanks for sharing your music. What a legend. If you have anything you want to share, boom, join the list right now. I know. I understand what you're saying with the shorts. Thank you so much. Anna gets it. Anna gets it. That's whack. I know. What up, KK Hugs? What up, Vlad, by the way, as well. I don't know if I said hello. Come on. Who wants something? Add to the list. What's this? This is the wheel. There is now a wheel for feedback. This wheel is prioritizing the people that are here right now in the stream who want feedback, rather than going through it one by one. But if we run out of people, then I'll start to go out through it one by one. That's how we're going to do things now. Me, okay, Waters is on the list now. Boom. I realize people's mood have changed a lot from 10 to 20 years ago. Now people crave social things more. Social things, Mr. Ma. What do you mean social things? Like going for some food? Let me add something. Add anything. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you can do whatever you like. Do you remember that song by T.I.? Was it T.I.? I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe like 2005 or something. I made a game with the Bevy engine in Rust, but it's literally Pong, so I don't think it needs feedback. All games need feedback, even Pong, unless it is literally just Pong. Perfected. Right, I'm going to spin the wheel. 3. Good luck, contestants. 3, 2, 1. Strato! Congratulations. Congratulations. You have been now removed from the wheel. Hype in the chat. Okay. I can ask everything or only at work. What do you mean? You can ask anything or you can ask me something. Go ahead. You can ask away. Whether I'll answer is a different answer. I'm not joking. Your yappins have helped me have some breakthroughs when it comes to art, so I do really... Oh, appreciate that, Dino. Yeah, I think the thing in my head, right? Here's the thing in my head that I'm trying to overcome with making things. Quality barrier. Okay? And the necessary quality. The necessary quality to make something. And in my head, that... If you imagine making something and there being a level of if this thing here is the level of quality needed, where this line at the top is absolute perfection, and I don't think this line actually exists, by the way, but this might be a line where we say, okay, it's considered perfect. Okay, you could go beyond perfect, probably. Can you? I don't know. Probably not. But let's just say that line there is considered perfect. Not that I think you can get to perfect. But in my head, right, my quality barrier, my quality expectation for things that I make is like here. It's like here, right? It's not perfect. It's definitely finished, but it's still quite high. me. That's my expectation. But what is not expected by others, but accepted by others as being good is like here. You know? And this is something that I'm trying to overcome, because this is bad, because I spend too much time putting quality in the wrong places. You know what I mean? Like the value for the ramblings, and this is what I've noticed from streaming and people like Dino saying like, oh, your yappings have helped me out. To me, what I'm doing right now is trash. Right? What I'm doing right now, I'm just talking rubbish and drawing on paint. That's trash. But actually, the quality is high because it's valuable. And that's where the quality lies. The quality doesn't lie in like hyper graphics with motion edits and all that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a different type of quality, but it's not necessarily the quality. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily the quality that's needed for the content that you're trying to make. For the thing, I hate the word content, but the thing that you're trying to make. You know what I mean? It's like, the example that I give on this is usually One Punch Man. When you see the first One Punch Man comic, which was drawn, the web comic that was drawn, like, you didn't really need that. You didn't really need to make super hyper realistic anime style awesome comic art. You just drew it. You know what I mean? They just drew it. And the same with The Big Les Show, if you've ever seen that. The Big Les Show was made by someone in high school on paint on their crappy little laptop. And the quality wasn't necessarily the visual style, it was the story. It was everything that we put into it. It's the characters that was making it. It was making it funny. Like, so that's what I struggle with, is making something which is good in the right places, you know? So hopefully I can change my own perspective on that when I start making terrible videos. And by terrible, I mean my own idea of terrible, which will then rewire my brain when people are like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever made. Because those A-Sprite tutorials, right? They've done the best that I've ever made a tutorial, and it didn't take me very long to make them. So I got to change my own brain. I'm a perfectionist too much. Yeah. Same for code. Undertale is a great example. Oh yeah. Code 100%, Dom. It goes for everything. It literally goes for every single thing you've ever made. It goes for every single... It's the same with visual stuff, like making drawings and stuff. If you make something, you go, oh my God, this sucks. The majority of people aren't artists. So, yeah. They don't know what sucks or not. They just go, oh, this looks nice. Like, I've seen a bunch of amazing artists, or like, I've seen a bunch of artists who are big on social media. They create things which people find enjoyment in their creations are considered good by a large amount of people, but I wouldn't say that they are technically good artists, like technical wise, you know what I mean? But they're obviously a good artist because it's received well. It's like a different, like, it's like pixel artists, right? Pixel art, there's this pixel art perfection thing with, there's this pixel art perfection thing with like jaggies and doubles and all that stuff that you have to do it a specific way, blah, 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 blah. But if you're not a pixel artist, you don't know about those things. You know what I mean? Exactly, Mr. Ma. The problem is you end up wasting a lot of time without granted returns. Yeah. And it's not necessarily always about the returns. To me, it's just about finishing things. And I want to finish more things. And there's different ways to improve at stuff. Like, you can improve, right? Two ways. By making a lot of things, or like pushing yourself to perfection every time. And I've tried the perfection way, and it's tiring. And it's or burnout wise. If I knew how to draw, it would be my response to everything. Just start drawing. Just start doing it. Just make it your response now. Like, why do you have to wait until you learn? That's one thing that I've learned as well. You don't have to wait for anything, right? This is what I'm trying to get across. Like, if you look at One Punch Man, the web comic, okay? Let me get this up again. I've done this before. I'm going to get it up. And I will answer your question, by the way, Nam. You said, is studying abroad necessary to learn game programming? No, you can learn it online. So One Punch Man, the original art comparison, okay? This is something that I've struggled with my head. Struggled with my head? No, I don't struggle with my head. Because I'm bald and it's easy. You just shave it every now and then. So if you look at the webcomic, hold on. One Punch Man comic versus show. Where is it? comic versus web comic versus manga versus show. What the heck? Where is it? If anyone's got a link for this. Sorry. Just searching. Searching. Boom, 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 boom. This is it, I think. This is it. Okay, this is it. Okay, so give me a minute here. Oh my god, you're all trolling right now. Stop trolling. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So what was I gonna say? So yeah, I was gonna say this. Salah, you said if I knew how to draw, it will be my response to everything. Here's the thing. You don't have to wait to be good to make something. You can just make it now. You can just make it right now. And that's something I've struggled with as an artist and as a creator, as someone who loves to make things. I've always thought there was a quality barrier. Okay? If this is quality. Wow, I can't spell. I've always thought that, in order to make this thing, my quality has to be above this green line. Like, my art skill has to be above this green line, otherwise I can't make it. And if I'm like here, I can't do it now. I have to wait until my quality has passed this barrier. But that doesn't exist. That isn't a thing. That's your own limitation that you're putting on the thing that you want to create. You can make it at any point. If you've just started doing art, if you've just started doing anything, you just make it at any point. It doesn't matter. Because by making the thing, right, there's other value other than visual quality, you know? There's other value other than visual quality. There's, like KK Hug says right now, there's quality of the story. If you're trying to tell a story, the quality of the story matters, not the quality of the art. But even then, like, there's still no quality barrier for releasing something. Even if it's a story, because you don't have to be a good writer to write. You don't have to be a good artist to make art. You just have to make the thing, and your skill will improve as you make it. There's been a lot of times where you see, like, if you check out The Big Les Show, for example. The Big Les Show was created by one person, and it's amazing. And when you watch the first episodes, like, the story has evolved and changed over time, and it's gotten better over time, and so has the artwork. If you look at the most recent series that came out, the Donnie and Clarence show, that and the storytelling in that and the artwork in that is miles better than the first ever Big Les Show stuff that came out. And it improved over time. So this idea that you need to achieve a certain quality barrier before you make something, before you write something, before you draw something, before you start making it, it doesn't exist. You just have to make the thing. Make the thing and finish it, and you'll get better. And you'll get to a higher quality level just by making the thing. Like, One Punch Man is a great example that I always like to give. If you look at the webcomic of One Punch Man compared to the manga of One Punch Man, compared to then the show of One Punch Man, like, you don't need it. You don't need super high quality. Just make the thing. Look at this. Look at this monkey gorilla character. Sorry, gorillas are apes. Look, gorilla character. It's a good drawing. It's not necessarily a bad drawing, but it's not manga quality. This was in my head what I would need to produce in order to make a cartoon or to make a comic. In my head, I'm like, I have to make it look like this. But you don't. You can make it look like this. And in fact, you could probably even make it look like this. And that's fine. That's fine as well. You know what I mean? You just have to make the thing. It doesn't mean that it will necessarily do well or perform well or whatever. You just have to make the thing. I mean, look at the difference between this one. Look at this. This is what I think that I have to create. Something as amazing as this. This is an amazing drawing. This is like an incredible drawing. Every panel is incredible. And the show is even cooler with the colors. You know what I mean? But you don't have to, you just make that, just do a little scribble like this. Boom. And this is cool as well. It has a lot of energy. There's nothing wrong with that. It gets the point across. And that's the whole point, right? It gets the point across. So there is no quality barrier. Stop getting in your own way. Make whatever you want to make and do it now before you die. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Okay, next. Someone clip that. We'll short it up. Easy. What? Making shorts is easy. Okay, next up. What up, Anchor? How you doing? XKCD is literally stick figures, but very well known. Exactly. Amazing, KK Hugs. Great reference. It's all got a gun to our heads. Like the first season of The Simpsons. I love the first season of The Simpsons. I'm not going to lie. I watched the first episode recently. How do I enter the Discord channel? You enter the password, and the password is Alakazam. Now, you just go on the link. You just click on the link. You should be able to get in there. What we were going to do. Is studying abroad necessary to learn game programming? No. Is studying abroad necessary to learn game programming? No. You can learn it online. Imagine flying, right? You might not even like it. This is a plane, okay? This is a plane. God, it doesn't look like a plane. It looks like an Among Us thing. Cursed Among Us. Imagine going on a plane around the world to go to a different country to learn something, and then you might not even like it. The power of the internet. The power of the internet these days, you can learn actually anything. You can learn literally anything that you want right now on YouTube, online, Udemy courses, online courses, books. God forbid you go to a library and you get a book. You can learn anything you want right now. That's how I learned programming. That's how I learned game programming. I just watched videos. I did little apps. I used apps. I did courses. I started making stuff. You know what I mean? Can't learn how to get a girlfriend. Yeah, you can actually. It's called lifting heavy weights. And just keep lifting heavy weights. Until you're as ripped as me. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time to start is now. No, it's not. It's now. That's now. No, it's now. No, it's now. Yeah, exactly. You can lift weights on the internet. Yes, you can. It's called subscribing to Sultans. That will increase your muscle size by 3%. It's like steroids. But anyway, subscribing to Sultans is like steroids for the brain. What were we doing? Who won? We were looking at something. You lift weights on only bulls. What up, fourth page, by the way? Hello. How you doing? Sorry, I didn't say hello. Okay, what are we doing? Feedback. What am I actually doing? Life's hard. Okay. Who won again? Strato, you won. What are we checking out? This cozy room. Oh my goodness, look at the hypeness. This is your room. Just started doing isometric pixel art. What do you think about it? Love the Pokeballs, firstly. Love the Pokeballs. Very nice. Love the lighting you've got going on, the little animations. Isometric pixel art is difficult, yeah? Isometric pixel art is really difficult, and you've decided to put in some really difficult subjects in an isometric style. Like triangles, isometrically. Good luck. But you managed to pull it off. I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. What feedback would we give here? There are some things that maybe look a little off. And they're just slight, you know? They're just slight. Like the underside of the chair, for example. Let me just take a quick screen cap of this. Is that a chair in the corner? Yeah, I wasn't sure what that is either, but maybe it's some sort of like... I don't know, like a book or something. So this thing, yeah. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about the chair in the corner. It kind of looks like a little, I don't know what it is. Looks like a chair. But this, for example. So when you're doing isometric, ignore the angles. There's a couple of things that I think you'll just begin to develop as the more you do it, right? But if you struggle with anything in perspective, you can think of it like a container. You can build anything in isometric, and I share this in my isometric tutorial video, by the way. You can build anything isometrically, like if you imagine it like a container. And inside those container, things are made up of basic shapes. So if we take this chair, for example, and with this chair, I'm going to use a different color. This chair is in a grid space container, okay? And the elements of the chair can be broken down the exact same way in this grid space container. So I'm just going to use this blue line here to indicate the bottom of the chair. And I'm going to use, so that will be this bit here. And I'm going to use this darker blue line to indicate the top of the chair. And let's just say it goes right to the top in both of these things. And then you can use that as your guide to sort of, do you know sculpting? You know when people make statues out of stone and they carve it away, you can think of it like that, where basically the shapes inside of this thing are on flat planes. Yeah, and you just have to draw the shapes on the flat plane, and then it turns in 3D space like that. So if that's the seat, okay, there's the top of the seat, just like that. And then the underside of it does the same thing. So imagine that it's actually here, right? It's in the center. When you're sitting on a chair, it's closer to the center. Oh, I think it is. It is on my chair. And then you imagine that in all areas. And there are things that would be hidden, right? There are parts of the thing that would be hidden because it's underneath the chair. You can't see it. So you actually wouldn't see that much of the chair, right? So let's have a look at this picture again. And you notice how we can see from this side, we can see all 4 legs of this chair. When really it might help to hide 2 of those. I've got the Donnie and Clarence show thing stuck in my head now. Donnie and Clarence. But notice how it might help to just hide some of these and give a better idea. You can maybe even put a 3rd one in if you really wanted to. Like there. You know what I mean? Notice how it looks like it fits a bit more in the space now. I thought that was an arcade machine. But that's how you do anything. Anything in isometric, you just break it down into simple shapes. I think it would be nice to desaturate or darken the walls of floor to make the bright part pop, but it's really nice already. Let's try that out. Let's try it out. Desaturate or darken the walls of floor. Let's take the, whoa. Do Donnie and Clarence. Let's take the floor. Let's take the walls. It's not going to be perfect, but let's try it anyway. Let's desaturate. Yeah, make some things stand out a bit. I think maybe some color balancing could work as well. There's a lot of saturated colors going on here. There's a lot of saturated colors, and it's drawing your attention to a lot of different places. You see the green is very saturated. This red is quite saturated. This pink is super saturated. The blue is super saturated, and that can be hard to balance. So what you can do is you can add color balances, or you can try adjusting color balances to give more of a vibe. Now this is feeling very purpley to me, so I'm going to push it towards purpley. And I'm going to reduce the saturation on some things, like the red, for example. I'm going to reduce the saturation on the reds. I'm going to push it as well. I'm going to push the reds more towards purple. So there's this thing called local colors, right? The local color of an object. These greens are very. This is when you. So how do I explain this? Right. So this is, I call it the grass is green, the sky is blue syndrome. When you see local colors or things which, this is a very sort of, when you start drawing things, when you start coloring things in, you go, well, the house is brown, the grass is green, and the sky is blue, and the things are yellow, and and you're ignoring any sort of light influence. you're just taking the I think it's called the local colors. Someone please correct me. It's been a while since I've done any color theory learning. I'm kind of just speaking out of what I used to know. You're just somebody that I used to, you know what I mean? And you start picking all of these local colors, which are, they're fine, but they don't give a huge amount of atmosphere. The atmosphere that they give is like children's cartoon book, because everything is their local color. But you can change. If you start thinking about colors like on the wheel, right? And I go, okay, well, I'm going to push this. I'm going to push these colors towards a different color. Let's say I'm going to push all of these colors. I want it to be like a moodier scene. I want to make, let's just mess with it. Let's mess with it, yeah? I'm going to make it rainy. So I'm going to add more blues. I'm going to add more blues, yeah? Okay, I'm going to make things add more blue. I'm going to push that towards green. I'm going to push that towards blue. Okay, let's make it a bit more. That's a bit too much. That's a bit better. Push the shadows there. And you just tweak it and keep going a little bit. And notice this yellow, if I want it to appear more rainy, I'll take this yellow color, right? And I'll shift it towards the blue. So which way would I go? And I'm thinking about hot and cold as well. Temperature wise, if I shift this towards the red, what's going to happen? It's going to appear warmer, because it's contextual, right? Because you have a color against blue, and the blue is quite cool in comparison. So if I push that towards the red, it's going to appear warmer, and that's going to stand out. That's contrast, like temperature contrast. So if I push it towards the yellow and the green on the other side, obviously that's too much, but if I push it towards that way and I desaturate it to become neutral, notice how it remains like it looks yellow, but it's becoming cooler because I'm desaturating it. You know what I mean? It still looks yellow, but it's cooler. This is very yellow. If I desaturate it, darken it a bit, it still looks yellow, still maintains the appearance of yellow. Maybe not that one, it's a bit more gray. But because I'm pushing it towards, because I'm desaturating it, it's cooling it down. Same with these reds here. These reds, how can we push it? Maybe push it towards the blues and the purples. Desaturate it a little bit. Desaturation is how you blend, basically. Like if you want to push a color closer towards something. I definitely recommend checking out James Gurney, Color and Light. James Gurney, Color and Light, and you'll learn all about this. And then I'm starting to push all of this. Oh, maybe I'll push this a bit even more blue. And notice how then we go from something which is sunny and all over the place, and then it becomes a little bit more uniform and cold because I'm pushing everything towards cooler tones, and I'm reducing the saturation of the colors which are not balanced very well. You know what I mean? Like it still appears red even though it's super saturated, but that's because it's against a different color. There's a thing for that. Like if I take a color that's red, oh, that's pink. If I take a red, whoa, this is hurting my eyes. If I take a red and I put a neutral color, this will be the thing which shows you this. Right? I take this red, right, and I take the gray, just the medium gray, and I put it in the middle. The gray or the neutral gray takes on the appearance of the color opposite the color. The color opposite the wheel. So opposite the red is like the greens. So this appears more green, even though it's just a gray. It's literally just a gray. But if I take this and turn it red or green, the gray becomes more red. It takes the appearance of a more red. Blue blue, like orangey yellow, orange, blue. Neutrals do that, and that's how you use neutrals. It's like if you want to blend things, I'll show you this image actually. I'll find an image real quick on ArtStation that will display this. This is how you balance colors in pieces overall. You don't using a lot of saturation, you're going to be left with a lot of areas competing for attention. But if you use desaturation, neutrals, you're going to be left with a more cohesive looking image. Like, let's just take something like this, I think. I don't even know if this works fully. I'm literally just going to copy it and we're just going to look at it because it looks cohesive to me. So this is a piece here called Smoldering Concrete by Akeem. I'll drop the link in here. Okay. There's links for you. Bam, bam, bam. There you go. So if we take a look at this, let's take a look at the most saturated points. Okay. Red. This is super highly saturated. You can see there. Super highly saturated red right there. You can see it in the color picker. It's really saturated. Let's take this blue. Blue. It's decent saturation. It's also quite dark against light, so it's high contrast. Now, the background, it seems green, yeah? The background seems green. These seem orangey. But look at the green. Look at where the green actually is in the color picker. The green in the color picker, look how super desaturated that green is. If I take this green and I put it next to the red, look at that. Look how desaturated that green is. But it appears more green. And so do all of these. All of these greens and like grass colors, they're appearing more green because they're surrounded by more saturated reds. You see that? And what did I just say? What did I just say? I said if you take a color which is highly saturated and you give it a neutral, it takes on the appearance of the opposite color in the color wheel. So we see the reds and the oranges in the floor, and because these are super desaturated greens, they're appearing more green, and it's making the piece seem cohesive. So you don't have to be super saturated to get things to look like that color. And they're using little spots of these yellow saturation. Yellow's doing the same thing. The opposite is purple, right? Purpley blue. But yeah, I think that's a cool example. Very cool art piece here as well, like I said, by Akeem. So I hope that makes sense. Is there no green here? Oh, yeah, they look greener. Yeah, there is green, but it's super desaturated. Like, look at where it is on the color picker. It's basically a gray. You know, it's basically a gray. That's how desaturated it is. Basically a neutral. And then you go to the reds, and the reds are more saturated. And notice how they don't use the highest points of saturation unless it's in a point where they want to draw your eyes, where they want to draw focus. They reserve the points of highest saturation for areas where they want to draw focus, like the yellow, the interesting parts of this this cool vehicle here, the blue here, the blue in this person's costume, the red in this person's costume. You can call these focal points. They reserve the high contrast. They reserve the highly saturated areas for the focal points that they want you to look at. Like, oh, boom, that's cool. Oh, sick, look at all this. Oh, whoa, woo, shiny, woohoo, cool. And then boom, boom, boom. And all of that color theory is on top of all of that about colors and saturation is on top of values, because obviously values are super important as well. If you don't have good value contrast, then that also doesn't work. Because look, notice how the figure here is very dark in value against very light area, so high contrast. Same thing here with this the other focal point of this piece, which is the vehicle. Notice how the value contrast is very high. You've got areas of dark surrounded by areas of really high light, and you've got even probably the strongest highlight in the whole piece, just smack bang in the middle there. And notice how it's literally the white. It's white surrounded by dark areas. So, boom, just like that. Just like that. You get what I'm saying? That makes sense? There are lots of things that go into composing a piece with value and color and things like that. That's just a little example right there. Could you do a video on color theory, please? I don't know. Color theory, I don't know if I really know color theory, to be honest with you. Subscribing accreditando. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Maybe I will. There's so much to learn about drawing and painting. Yeah, there's a lot. But that's what you can do here. Just take it one step at a time. Water said, when was the best time to start? 10 years ago? The second best time to start is now. Well, what's the best way to eat an elephant? When you're faced with a large task, what is the best way to eat that elephant? One bite at a time. That's going to be a little spoiler for my next upcoming video. So yeah, cool, sweet, sick. But yeah, sometime we'll make a video on color theory, definitely. Next up, very cool piece there. Very cool piece there, Strato. I appreciate you sharing. Yeah, learning more about color theory, I definitely recommend James Gurney's Color and Light book. What up, TJ Mac? How are you doing today? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well. By the way, did you check out my new short? If you didn't, go check it out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to start making little shorts. Why not? Okay, who's next? Let's find out. If you want something to be seen, let me know, and we'll add you to the list. But anyway, I'm going to spin. Who's going to win? It's going to be Waters. Congratulations, Waters. Oh my goodness, look at that. Predicted. Oh my God, stop. Stop, stop, stop. Congratulations, Waters. What would you like us to check out? Let's check it out. I had a 50-50 chance. Come on, it wasn't that impressive. Don't be that impressed. Let's go. Oh, hey, that's me. Texturing. Oh, I've seen this. It's sick. Just wondering if I could get some feedback regarding the texturing, lighting, and design of the robot. Some issues I ran into when designing was how to make the robot interesting. Due to it being manufactured results in a symmetrical design, which is inherently boring. Obviously, if you only have time to give feedback on one, that's cool. I may have subconsciously been referencing the droid HK-47 from Star Wars. I also noticed it resembles... It has a strong resemblance to... What's the name of this character? This guy. Zenyatta. It's got a strong resemblance to Zenyatta from Overwatch. That's what I first thought of. Me and my friends are making from college are trying to make a pixel style game. Your Sprite tutorials are insanely great. Thanks for doing them. Hey, no worries at all. Best of luck with your game, Bulgara. I don't play Overwatch. Yeah, it was the dots mainly that sold me on that. But robots, right? Robot designs. So firstly, let's talk about the good. Well, let's show this actually, because I thought this was insane. So this is what I saw, and I thought it was insane. Did you do the background and everything? Like, this is nuts. Like, the cohesion of this style, especially with that like CRT effect on top of it, is nuts. Like, it is really, really good. This is probably the best piece that I've ever seen you do. Definitely. It shows like the amount of effort that's gone into this, and you did so much only to be fair, it works though. It works. Like, it looks so cohesive, and not just that, but like it works so well because your fundamentals, your underlying structure is good. Like, you've struggled with that in the past, and the feedback that we've given you in the past on mechs has always been about lighting and hitting certain points and not lighting certain things and doing it in a directional way, and you've done that really, really well here. That's the one thing that I think really stands out with this piece compared to your other robots that we've seen. Like, let's hide all the details first, and let's just look at the values. Let's start there. You have this directional light like from the left, okay, and it's subtle. It's subtle, but you have this like top left side, and everything else is darker, you know, and that's great. That is helping sell the form massively, and that's something you didn't really do in your older pieces, or not as well as you've done here, and I think that works really, really well. You could even push it. You could push it even further if you wanted to. I don't think you necessarily need to, but you could push it even further if you really wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, just pushing that is... Don't be scared to hide things in shadow. It depends on the piece, and obviously this is on a black background, so what I'm doing now doesn't necessarily make sense, if you know what I mean, because it's on a black background. But notice how if I just quickly light some areas. Oh, I got that bloody song in my head. Notice how pushing it really just crazy pushes the form. You know what I mean? And I did that. If you want to know how I did that, by the way, I did that with an overlay layer. So if you're struggling with the form of a piece and you want to kind of just mess around with it really quick, add a new layer on top, change the mode to overlay, and this is how an overlay layer works. Okay, so I'm just going to put a neutral gray here, and I'm going to put an overlay layer on top of it just to describe how this works. So if you look at the scale of black to white here on the left, and I'm just going up the left side, anything that I put above 50% gray is going to lighten it. Anything that I put below 50% gray is going to darken it. Now, obviously, you can take that a little bit further by adding in some hues. So once you understand the inherent value of a hue, like if I add yellow, for example, that's going to be really light. If I add blue, it's probably going to make it darker. And we know that happens. Why? Why does that happen? Because blue's inherent value is darker, even though it's high up here in the value range, which is why just start off with black and white if you don't understand the inherent value of a color yet. So basically what you can do is with any piece, you can literally test out value changes by putting an overlay layer on top. Just use black and white if you want to, and just go, right, I'm just going to try darkening this side and let's see how much I can get away with. Basically that's what I did just then, and it took me 5 minutes, less than, to just test it out. And you can reduce the opacity of it, like how much do I really need. And when you're doing this, work zoomed out. You can work zoomed out, you can just play around with it, and then you can try highlights a little bit, maybe do another overlay layer on top. So you've got one for highlights, one for highlights, one for what's it called, one for shadows. So you can just test it out and go, okay, well that kind of makes sense to me. And then you can tweak that individually as well, and you can push it. But remember, working zoomed out, you're going to see the form a lot better. You're going to see the form a lot better, and you can see how you can push it a bit more. So that would be my next tip for you, is to try pushing it even further than you think you can go. But overall, fantastic. Yeah, you've done a really good job. You've done a really, really good job of the value structure of this piece. It's really solid. It's really, really solid. What else? So you asked about it's manufactured, results in a symmetrical design, which is inherently boring. Okay, so when something is symmetrical, to make it appear interesting, you add asymmetrical details. So this robot, right, you said it's a manufactured robot, but when you want to think about how to make something more interesting, the only thing that you have to do, it's the same with concept design. So basically, this is how you're going to push this character even further, is you ask yourself questions about it. Like, what is this character? What type of robot is it? You said it's a manufactured robot. Well, what's its purpose? What does it do? What is it doing now? What's its purpose? What was it designed to do? What does it do now? How long has it been since it's done its purpose? If you start to think about these things, then it's going to help you push it even more. Because I might go, okay, this robot was designed to build ships or something like that, and it needs certain functionality. So you can go, okay, well, it needs X, Y, Z. So then you can start to add these elements to the character, and that's going to build the character with more purpose. Like, there's a thing in design when you're designing characters, or you're doing any sort of concept art or anything like that. Purpose-driven design. Like, you don't just put in random things. You put in things that make sense. And that's another stage. Like rendering and making something look nice, that's important to make it look nice, obviously. But to make it look believable, and have believable designs, you should have purpose-driven design. So it's things that make sense. So, for example, I might push this and go, okay, this robot was a typical servant robot. It looks humanoid because people want to be able to relate to it. That's why it's got the eyes, blah, 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 blah. And that was its purpose. It was a servant. But it's been so long since we've needed these servants, there's been an upgrade, that it started to rust, and it's been like battle torn, and they started to fight each other. So that's the little story that I've just created there. So this has just started fighting each other, and I'm going to add some asymmetrical designs. I'm just going to start like, this one's got like cuts and rips on the left side of it or something like that, right? Like, oh, it's been battered in areas. Maybe it's got like dents in areas and stuff. Like, this is what I'm starting to think about now. Okay, well, maybe it's like cracked up and stuff like that, and it's worn. Like, that's what I'm thinking about. And how you do that depends on the story that you're telling. It depends on the character itself. So I'm just going to give it a cut here. This whole light actually in its eye, that's going to be broken. Like this eye doesn't work anymore. It's all you can see is like the structure and underneath. Like I'm going to use that tip that I learned before about circuitry and wires and saturation to create something underneath here which kind of looks like it makes sense, you know what I mean? Like what I was talking about before with the saturation. By reducing the saturation down, it's going to make it look blue, even though it's not actually blue. It's kind of blue. And then I'm going to add in like highlight areas here. And there's one bit. Okay, we've already added a little bit of asymmetrical detail. And it's been a while, right? And this robot's starting to rust a bit. So I'm going to start adding in rust spots on these areas. Like this metal looks a little bit too clean for me now. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to... Not that. That's an ugly brush. Hold on. I'm going to take this. I'm just going to start like adding in some rust to this metal. Ignore this a second. Do. I need reference for rust. But you get the point. Some of the metal is rusted up. It's beaten up. It's scratched. So the more that you do stuff like that, notice how you go from something which is, this isn't necessarily bad, by the way, for it to be clean and for it to be perfectly symmetrical. That might fit the story of the character perfectly. It just depends, you know. You decide what it is, you know. You decide what it is that is pushing it. But notice how just a couple of things and having an idea of where you want to take the character and what the character is unique with, that's how you can add asymmetrical details. An asymmetrical detail is how you make something symmetrical look more interesting, basically. And you can go different ways with that. You know, you don't have to go the whole like battle-worn, you don't have to go the whole like battle-worn type robot thing either. You can go completely different ways with it. You can take it into like a maid boss and you can clean it up. It's really up to you. Feedback is not in for me. I'm learning something. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point in Feedback Friday. Good evening, Blood Queen. May I ask what the Blood Queen, what the conditions to get feedback? Yeah, we'll add your name to the list. I'll take waters off. There's only 2 on the list. If he builds ships, he needs an iPad. Exactly. Little story points like that. Joanna, the robot looks like it's made of copper, so it would be cool if certain parts were aged to blue or green color of aged copper. Yeah, exactly. These are if that's what you want to go with, that would be super cool, right? I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Just start pushing it in, like just try things out, you know. Like you said, you can do it on a separate layer, and if you're unhappy with it, just delete it or reduce it, or you know, try different things out. Or just call it done. It does, like, you don't have to push it all the time. You can just call it done as well. Yeah, but I hope that helps. I think this is one of your best pieces that I've seen so far. Definitely looks very cohesive, and I really like the background as well, to be honest with you. So keep it up. Can you add me to the wheel? Of course. Pixel Toast. Thanks a bunch. No problem. Okay, folks. We'll do one more add to the wheel section right now, and that's going to be it. I'm going to lock the wheel out. The wheel will be locked. No more names. Just so we can get through all of these today. Do I have work tomorrow? What day is it tomorrow? Oh my god, do I got work tomorrow? Remember me? What a moon man, of course. How to submit my work? I'll add you to the wheel, and you do it on the Discord. Saturday. Oh my god, do I have work tomorrow? I do. It's okay though. I thought it was early. It's not early. That's fine. Damn, it's a long shift though. Sadness. Okay. Right, that's it. The wheel is now locked. The wheel is locked. Let's spin. Have good art, but just put it on. Are you a rich and famous game dev yet? No, Tom. I work in a stock room, and I don't have any time to work on my game anymore. That's what my life is right now. Pixel Toast. You are the winner. What would you like us to have a look at, Pixel Toast? solved. Dude, we've seen this one. That's solved here. Love your piece for Yellow Taxi. Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, that was a fun little... That's fun, and the game is actually sick too. Oh, check this out. You submitted a post about Gen 2 Pokemon sprites. Sick. I'll have a look in just a second. Check this out. You just bought it? Let's go. It's actually really, really good game. Like, I really enjoy playing it. I've been playing it, collecting all the cogs. And I wanted to show you something. How sick is this? How sick is this? Beep. Hello, shiny head man. What up, Alta Dev? How you doing today? What's going on, Givens? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Let's go! Hype in the chat. Soul Tunes in the credits. You love to see it. You love to see it. But anyway, it's a good game. And that was a really fun piece. That was one of the most fun commissions I've ever done. It's been a moment since I haven't watched you live. Well, Givens, welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. What did you contribute to this? They just commissioned me to make some artwork, and I did a Mario pinup, which is one of the characters, and they're using it for the Steam card. Using it for the Steam card, and they used it for like marketing and stuff like that, which is cool. Which is cool. I love projects like that. Okay, let's check out these Gen 2 sprites. Donde está? Donde está es el Pokemon sprites? These, here we go. Here we go. Watching the current Feedback Friday. Let's go. I'm currently doing an art study of Gen 2 Pokemon sprites and have taken a stab at trying to demake the Pokemon Rowlet using Game Freak's design principles. The main things I kept in mind were a 4-color palette, 40 by 40 sprite size, top left light source, looking down right. The one thing that I feel I've always struggled with is anti-aliasing. Game Freak uses it very well in their original Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal sprites to help emphasize where the light catches the body. I tried my best to keep this in mind, but I'm not sure if I was able to pull it off properly and would love some feedback on how I can improve it. Thank you thank you very much for your time. I've also included a reference sheet. Okay, where is the first thing I want to ask is where's the reference for nice you're using PureRef? I can see, by the way. Nice, hype in the chat. What up, Mr. Megis? Sorry, I messed your name up there. Definitely did. Happy to finally make one of these. I'm listening with intensity while working on building a stage. Hype. What stage are you working on? You working on a game? Big hype. If you want to share anything, let us know. Firstly, looks sick. Definitely reads as a Pokemon sprite. I've never seen like a demake of a Pokemon, so this is a really cool idea. This is a really cool idea. But I'm gonna need some reference for some Gen 2 Pokemon sprites. Because I don't know what the goal is. You know what I mean? If you want their Gen 2 sprites, I'll post one up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, please do. Make a stage for a fighting game I want to create. Nice, let's go. That sounds sick. I'm so bad at fighting games. I had an idea for a fighting game once, though. I'm not going to share it, though, because it's actually a $1 million idea. It's $1 million idea. So I'm not going to share it. So this is the feed. This is the reference. So they use how many colors? 4 colors. Cool. These sprites are cool. So you're saying they've got a top left light, basically. Yeah, you are correct. And they use anti-aliasing. So I would call that a mixture of... Yeah, it's anti-aliasing. It's like selective outline. I have to go. Remove me from the wheel, please. Blood Queen, I shall indeed. Thank you. Sorry it's taken you a while to get to yours. Hopefully we can give you some feedback next time, Blood Queen. Thanks for hanging out today. Appreciate you anyway. Thanks for submitting. Yeah, it's like selective outline, right? They're using outlines. It's sort of anti-aliasing, sort of selective outline where they're changing the outline colors, sort of adding anti-aliasing for the lighting here. We can see it in, we can see it a lot in this piece here. Notice how the outline is typically black, and they use anti-aliasing here in this part to like soften those corners. But they use selective outlining is what I would probably call it here, or like colored outlining. Is pure ref free? It is, yeah. And that is how you spell it. They're using selective outlining and colored outlining here to indicate like light spots from where the highlights are. You can see it in the eyes. You can see it in the highlight there. It's not everywhere, and all of these pieces don't have it, so it's not like super consistent, but it's a general theme. It's a general theme, you could say. Seems pretty inconsistent. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like they've got it so, like they don't have it here. They could add more here, for example. But I guess there's also shadow from the bone, so maybe they're not. Can't really recognize a rule. Yeah, I would also agree. Like this one looks like, this one's kind of selective outline. It also looks like broken outline, but I guess it just depends, doesn't it? Like this one here, this one could definitely use it. I guess maybe it depends on the material as well. Like, I don't know. I don't know what their thought process is fully for that. Like I'd maybe say that was closer to the other sprite that we saw if you did something like that, you know what I mean? But I can't quite tell. So let's just take a look at your piece. But overall, these sprites are obviously very cool. So let's take that there. Boom, 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 boom. So the first thing I notice is just about the pose, actually. So if you take a look at the poses of all of these Pokemon, they're quite dynamic, actually. All of these poses are quite dynamic. They're doing something which looks quite active. And when you look at them, you can imagine these on a 3D stage almost. Like, look at the Bulbasaur. You can imagine it in perspective. This is in this kind of perspective. You know what I mean? This one looks a little bit more flat, but it's still in some sort of perspective. And I feel like that's missing a little bit from yours. Yours looks a little more front on, direct, without as much perspective added to it. And I think that's why it struggles a little bit to sell form. Whereas all of these, like I said, they look like they fit within a square in a certain perspective style. So I'd say probably if I was going to go down this path, I'd try and do something like that, right? Where what do you think I could do to change that? Well, it's in the initial stage, I think, where like you'd have to think about it. What pose do you want it to be in? Like, let's take a look at Rowlet. Is it called Rowlet? My bad if I said that wrong. Let's take a look at this character. So the flying one's pretty good. This one's okay. Like even this one, I can see where you're taking it. This one even looks flat, even though it's 3D, but it still has a slight, like perspective to it. You know what I mean? Maybe something like this pose. This pose is quite good for that. This pose is pretty good, even though we'll go with this one. We'll go with the flat standing one because it still has perspective here, which is solid, and you can see the shadow. You can see the shadow really well under here, and how the light's gonna affect this character. And then we'll add the thingamabob. So we'll go with something like that, okay? So the only thing I would do then is I would change the angle at which you've drawn it. So you've drawn it head on, and drawing something head on like that, it's very difficult to see the form because it looks flat, right? It looks like a cutout. So change it to like a 3/4 angle. Like notice this character is very similar. Like this character could literally be that character if you took its color scheme. You know what I mean? And notice how it's drawn here at a 3/4 angle, which is what gives it the form. So I'd try doing something like that. I draw the thing at that angle, and then I'd add in bang, bang, bang. And that's firstly going to give it the form. that's going to help you give it more form. Okay, then you have the eyes, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to do all of this. This is going to take me too long. But you get the idea. You start to get the idea, right? It looks like a funny character that I've drawn here. You start to get the idea. So I draw it on the side. Now your sellout, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think some of the line here looks a little bit, this line here looks a little bit too sharp. Like when you zoom out of this piece, and this is what you should do with pixel art. Like pixel art, it's really easy to see pixel art from afar. There are some areas which look sharp just from looking at it with your line work. This area looks a little bit sharp. This area looks a little bit sharp. The shape that I'm getting from this is like that. The shape that I'm getting from this is like that. So this is what I'm reading from afar with these pixel alignments, these pixel lines. So I would probably, it's going to be hard to do this, but I'm going to do this like that. And that, you notice how that singular pixel change right there rounds it out a bit more. It's just rounding it out. I'm going to do the same here. I'd probably go 2, 1. Maybe wouldn't do that. I'd maybe try a 2, 2. 2, 2. Maybe try wearing a 2, 2. Why not? Do that. Do this. Do this. Do this. Does that look sharper? It does look sharper. So I do that. Do this. Do that. There we go. And now you have a more rounded shape. See what I mean? And notice how in some of these sprites, right, the aliasing isn't just internal. You got external outlines. Subgoal still wears a 2, 2. I do that anyway. So you don't just have internal here. You could use this blue on outside parts to soften that up. Especially it makes sense here with bounce light. I don't know if that's a rule that they've had, but that's something I would consider. That's something I would consider there, like for bounce light reasons. But that's going to help soften the shape up a little bit more. Gok, what up? You know what I mean? It's hard to do it without the actual pixel sizes. Highlights wise, the highlights are fine, I think. Again, I think the only thing that's stopping you from really selling the form, with this piece is your pose. The other thing I would say is take a look at if you have a top-down light, right? If you have it's a top-down light, like you correctly said. You can see on some of the sprites here. It's mostly top left, or there is a lot of top left ones. So if you're going with that, notice how in this piece they use dithering here. They use dithering here to add shadow underneath this point here, right? They use dithering to add shadow there. They do it all the way around here. So the body of this guy, I would probably use your blue here. I'd probably use your blue to dither all of this out. And obviously this isn't the right pixel size, so please forgive me. But as you start to dither that, it'll look like that's more in shadow. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had the real size, but that's okay. It hurts me to do this, by the way. Just so you know, it hurts my brain to do this and make pixels that look so ugly. But you kind of get the idea when I zoom out, right? That this will be in shadow, because it's the way that we saw from the reference image is most of this body here underneath the character. This is the character here, and this is the line. The shadow is like a ball. Yeah, shadow's like a ball. Very simple character here. Lighting, shadow like a ball. Boom, boom, boom. Easy win. You know what I mean? And that's going to help you sell the form even more. This is what I mean when I talk about, like, don't be scared to hide things in shadow. You know, don't be scared to hide things in shadow, and that's going to help sell the form a bit more. Which again, it's kind of difficult to do at that angle. The other thing is colors. Let's have a look at the colors. Dude, let's have a look at these colors. It's crazy how keeping the 3D perspective in mind really impacts the use of things like dithering. Well, that's what it is, right? Dithering is you're just shading something. Dithering is a fancy way to shade something. The fundamental of shading anything is describing form with light and dark. Yeah, you're describing form with light and dark. So we add in highlight for the light, we add in dark for the shadow. And that always matters. Like, to do that, you have to keep in mind the 3D nature of the object. And you can do that by like wireframing it, kind of like that. And if you understand how light works, you'll know that when there's a light source, the light comes down and it bounces off the planes. And that reflection into your eye is what causes the highlights. And when the light comes down and it doesn't hit the plane, it hits all of these planes in a gradient probably. And then it doesn't hit here, and that's why there's shadow, the terminator spot. And actually there's more light here. There's more light here on the underside. Why? Because the light is coming down, yeah? And it's hitting the surface and it's reflecting off the surface and bouncing back onto the ball. And that's what gives you bounce light. And that's why the Terminator, not the movie, the point of the shadow is the dark point of the core shadow. And you obviously have occlusion shadow and cast shadows as well. And just learning that basic fundamental of light, you can shade anything. You can shade any shape. You can shade literally anything. And cool as. You can apply that to literally everything. It's not that difficult. You could spend like a day learning about colors and lighting and apply that to every single thing you ever make. So I've been trying to get good at digital art. However, I'm okay-ish at best due to me struggling to draw smooth and clean lines. Do you have any tips you could give? Practice specifically with lines. There's warm-ups you can do where basically you start your pieces. Like when I used to work animation studios and stuff like that, I'd spend the first 5 to 10 minutes every day literally just warming up. Warm up, draw lines, create 2 dots, try and draw a line between those 2 dots. Oh, messed it up, doesn't matter. You're just trying to warm up, right? And then simple shapes. A line adds to another line, and then you do 3D shapes, So start warming up with your lines. The more that you do it, the better you're going to get at it. You can use stabilization. Now, I use a tiny amount of stabilization, but if I want really clean lines, you can use stabilization. The problem with that is it's kind of a crutch, right? In that your actual dexterity, I don't know, I've never seen a study on this or anything, but I don't know if your dexterity is really going to improve. It's going to improve, but I don't know what a faster rate of improvement is. Now, the reason I don't mind using stabilization on digital programs and digital software is because when you draw on paper with an ink pen, right? I've got an ink pen right here. An ink pen right here with black ink. It doesn't have the nib in. The nib is in this little thing. But when you draw on paper with an ink and an ink pen, there's a texture, there's feedback, there's friction. And when you're drawing on a screen or when you're drawing on a tablet, you don't get the same amount of friction. If you do, your nib's going to wear down, right? So I don't mind a little bit of stabilization digitally because it emulates more the friction that you get from paper. So you can add a little bit of stabilization. Obviously, if you go mad, some people go mad crazy and they like start pulling lines. At that point, you might as well just use Illustrator or something like that. You know what I mean? But whatever works for you. It obviously depends on your ability. It depends on your hands as well. Maybe you don't have the motor skills to do that. Then that's fine as well. You can do whatever works for you. What up? But yeah, so that's what I'd say. Pose for this piece. I'd say pose first. Pose is your fundamental, and then light source. Think about your light source and how that applies to your 3D pose. and your individual pixels, the impact of individual pixels. Like we saw shapes here. And in order to study that, in order to see that, just zoom out. Zoom out and you'll see underlying shapes and how to clean those shapes up. You'll just mess around with it. Other than that, I think your anti-aliasing is pretty good, actually. I don't think it's actually that bad. Your anti-aliasing is pretty good. Also, light inconsistency. Like, if the light's coming from the top left, I'd expect this part of I'd expect this part to be lit as well. So maybe I'd put the white there, and maybe I wouldn't put the... Then I'd use the blues here. But I guess it just depends. You know what I mean? Guess it just depends. Drone Sean, what up? How you doing, everybody? Hype in the chat for Drone Sean. We're just giving a little bit of feedback today. Giving a little bit of feedback. We've been live for about an hour and a half. We've only got a couple more people left, and then I'm going to call it for the day. But I do appreciate that raid. How you doing, Drone Sean? What have you been working on? Share anything you'd like. Seeing my piece through someone else's eyes is truly enlightening. Yeah, that's what feedback is for. It's such a skill. It's such a skill to share your work and be open to feedback. So the fact that you're doing that is huge, you know. It's huge. What up, Sarah? How you doing? By the way, if you can't see the chat that I'm talking to, we've got two chats. We've got YouTube and Twitch. What does it mean to be rated with a party of 12? That is a Twitch thing. It's a Twitch thing. People can jump in from Twitch from their stream like Drone Sean has just done very kindly, and they rated us with 12 people, which is very hype. Thank you so much. So let's jump on, folks. If you don't know what's going on today, we're giving feedback, art feedback, hype in the chat. Okay, 2 people left. Who's it going to be? BT Bap in the building. You still here, BT Bap? What would you like? What would you like us to look at? Congratulations. And then last but not least is Moonman. But I hope that helped anyway. Oh, flashbang. Moonman, get wrecked. Get wrecked, Moonman. Let's give a little shout out to Drone Sean, shall we? Drone Sean. Thank you so much for that raid again. Okay, let's do this. BT Bap, are you here? BT Bap, are you here? Let's just have a look anyway. Sorry, you can't see. BT Bap, what is your piece? Doing good, buddy. Gotta run. Have a good one. No worries at all, John Sean. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate that raid. Hype for you, my friend. I hope your stream was good. BT Bap, you're fumbling the bag right now. Where you at? Where you at, BT Bap? We've seen this one. Let's edit the tag here. Boom. Edit tag solved. Awesome. Okay, we're going to move on in about 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Have you ever printed pixel art? I said pixel art. Have you ever printed a pixel art illustration? If yes, which size have you worked on and which format was the print? So printing things, whenever I print anything, I convert my pieces to CMYK. Unless I already work in, and I don't work in CMYK. I convert pieces to CMYK because the colors for printing, I believe it has to be CMYK, or it's a better representation of what it's going to look like in the print, or something like that. And what size have you worked on? So whenever I print something, you want a large size piece for your print, right? So I would do I post my pixel art? Post it in the Discord. Yes, Moonman. I would increase the size of the resolution. So if I'm working, for example, in 64 by 64, I don't want it to be 64 by 64. That would be too low resolution for printing. So I'd probably expand the size of that. It obviously depends. I believe printing matters about DPI as well. I don't typically print things. So if you do a little bit of research, you'll find the information that you need. But my go-to would be to change the color space and make sure everything looks fine, or convert the color space, increase the size of the resolution, and check the DPI for printing. I believe a higher DPI, more decimals decimals per dots per inch. More dots per inch is better. How does Twitch chat work? I don't have Twitch, so I don't know anything about it. It's just on the Twitch stream, basically, twitch.tv/Soultunes. And if you sign in there on Twitch, then you can chat on my chat if you're in the twitch.tv/Soultunes. But that's okay. If you're in the YouTube, I can see you as well. I multi-stream, basically, so I'm streaming to both YouTube and Twitch right now. But there isn't a combined chat, which is lame. There should be a combined chat. There should be. Combined chat for Twitch and YouTube. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Restream. Apparently Restream will allow you to see that, but it is what it is. Paradito says, hello, YouTube viewers. So there you go, Anna. Paradito says, hello from Twitch. Okay. Moonman, have you done it? This is going to be the last piece of the day, and then I'm going to go get some food. You know what game this is? Titty Pac-Man. That's what game this is, apparently. I don't know what the game is, Moonman. It looks very... Is it Terraria? It looks very cool, though. Terraria, says Zai. Is it? It looks very cool, and your form is very, very good. Look at that. Look at the values. We appreciate values here. You got a bit of bounce light going on in the back? What's going on? Got a bit of bounce light going on? Crazy. I'd probably put a little bit of cast shadow from the top. You know what I'm saying? You got a thing up there. I don't like shadows. Well, you don't like the shadows of this piece? Okay, let's have a look at it. So I think if there's light coming from the top here, remember there's cast shadows coming here. Cast shadows. Looks kind of like a horror version of Pac-Man, probably because I don't know anything about Terraria. I've seen Terraria a little bit. I played it. I used to play it a lot, actually. A long time ago. Okay, so I think let's just alter this a touch. Remember the Terminator is darker around here. Terminator. Let's put a little bit of bounce light in here. Looks much better than the original Terraria thing. Don't be scared to put things in shadow. I thought it was a top-down character, so the lighting was fine, like Pac-Man. Yeah, I think it's like a side-on thing, right? Unless I'm wrong. Oh, the tail's non-emissive. At first, I thought they were fire or something. Are they fire? If they're fire, then I'm doing it wrong. I kind of read it as like veins type thing. If it's fire, then I shouldn't have unlit that. And if they're emissive, then all of this should be lit as well then. It was a question. I have no clue. I don't know either. Bro, you didn't read my question. Hello World says, do you know anything about making pixel art game? Any tips for a beginner? Of course, Hello World. I have lots of videos on the channel about making pixel art and making games. I'd recommend checking out 3 videos that I've got. The first video I'd recommend checking out is the Ultimate Pixel Art Tutorial. That's where you'll learn everything about pixel art that you need. So start there. Ultimate Pixel Art Tutorial. The second video that I'd recommend checking out is the A-Sprite tutorial. So if you want to start making pixel art, you can go learn how to do it in A-Sprite. And once you've got the knowledge from Ultimate Pixel Art Tutorial, you can apply that using the A-Sprite tutorial. And the thirdly, you want to make a game, I'd recommend checking out how to make game art video that I've made. Game art. And boom, you'll then have the pixel art knowledge that you need. You'll be able to apply it in the editor, like A-Sprite or anything like A-Sprite, because they're all the same, basically. And then you'll be able to apply that to a game with the how to make game art. And then you can also check out specific tutorials that I've made, such as character walk tutorials, running, all that stuff, portraits, whatever, on the channel as well. So, yeah, that's what I'd say. That's a YouTube short right there. Clip it. Clip it and ship it. Maybe I'll be giving away a Steam key for A-Sprite. Hype in the chat. Hype in the chat for the A-Sprite giveaway. I think it is a side view because the teeth like that. Yeah, Moonman redacted their image. Do you like the tails? By the way, this is a mechanical version of the first boss in Terraria. First, it's like 2 eyeballs, and then iron-like, and then those are veins, not fire. Okay, so I was correct. I was correct in what I was doing. Where the heck did my thing go? Where did my drawing go of it? What the heck? Yes, I do like it. I think it's very good. I think overall, you've got a very strong... Overall, it's a very strong piece. Overall, it's a very strong piece, and the lighting is fine. I'd just say maybe a little bit more cast shadow, like I was drawing earlier. But overall, it's very, very good, and I don't think a lot needs to be changed, really. I think it looks really cool. I think you've done a solid job. Not a lot of feedback needed to be given there. Not a lot of feedback needed. Very hype. Very hype. Wait, look at Discord. I'm looking at Discord. I was at work today. It was fun. Waiter. It's Terraria. Hype. We need a daily challenge. Let's do that before we leave. Anything? Anything for the day? Anything for the trolley? Anything from the trolley? Let's do it. Daily challenge Friday 12th. Oh my goodness. Almost Friday the 13th. We got lucky. I kind of want to do Pac-Man. Sorted. There you go. Create 3 versions of Pac-Man. Good luck. Have fun. Right, folks, I'm going to call it there. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out today for the feedback stream. It was a nice one. We give lots of feedback. We helped a lot of people out. Hopefully you learned something. We got some ideas for videos. We got some ideas for shorts. It's been a good time. It's been a good time. Look at Discord. What the heck? Ah, okay. So this is what it was based on. Cool. Yeah, your version is way cooler. Your version is way cooler. I love the colors. Badass. Yeah, very nice. Very nice, Moonman. Right. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate you all. Have a good rest of your night. And I'll catch you all next week. Goodbye.